You're sitting in your car. The engine is off. You know exactly what you need to say when you walk inside. You've rehearsed the boundary. Your hand touches the handle. Your chest tightens. The anxiety hits your throat. It's uncomfortable. It burns. So what do? You pull your hand back. You pick up your phone and scroll to let your heart rate drop. Then you walk inside and say absolutely nothing. You plaster on that fake smile. You trade your self-respect for a quiet evening. You think you kept the peace. Stop. Wrong. You didn't keep the peace. You just surrendered the war. You looked at the friction, the exact pain trying to give you the information you needed to evolve, and you ran back to your bubble. You treat discomfort like a disease. Stop trying to be comfortable. Comfort is where your potential goes to quietly bleed out. You can feel the rot, can't you? The alarm screams. The cold air hits you, and the negotiation begins. 5 more minutes. You hit snooze. You retreat. Noon. An email demands a boundary. A knot forms in your gut. Pause. That knot is data, but you delete your firm draft. You soften it with a smiley face. You retreat. Evening. Someone crosses a line. Annoyance flares in your chest. That irritation is a signal, but you force a laugh and change the subject. You retreat. Every single day, you execute 100 of these micro-retreats. You dodge friction to avoid a 10-second spike in cortisol. Stop trying to be comfortable. You think you're keeping the peace. Here's what you don't want to hear. You aren't adapting. You are eroding. That pain is information about exactly where your borders lie. When you constantly run from it, you erase yourself piece by piece. Look around your life right now. The routines, the predictable evenings, the people you keep around because they never challenge you. You've spent years curating this existence, blocking anything that triggers a spike in your heart rate, avoiding the conversations that make your palms sweat. You've been desperately trying to build the perfect, safe space. And you think you've won. You think a life without friction is the ultimate prize. Pause. Nobody's going to tell you this, but let's look at the brutal reality. This isn't a sanctuary. It's a padded cell, and you locked the door from the inside. By refusing to let the world push you, you stopped growing. Pain is information. It tells you exactly where you are weak and what needs to change. When you eliminate it, you go blind. Stop trying to be comfortable. The peace you feel right now isn't serenity. It's anesthesia. Your brain is a survival machine. It's wired to treat a difficult boundary exactly like a physical threat. Fight or flight. And you? You always choose flight. Nietzsche understood this trap. He didn't see suffering as a bug in the human operating system. He saw it as the core feature. He knew you cannot build yourself without the friction of deep discomfort. Read that again. Every time you feel that tightness in your chest, that panic when someone challenges you, your avoidance mechanism takes over. You tell yourself, if it hurts, it must be bad. Wrong. Stop trying to be comfortable. That psychological pain is information. It's a diagnostic tool highlighting exactly where your boundaries are compromised. But you shoot the messenger. You surrender to the retreat. Because when you eliminate the pain, you destroy the compass that tells you who you are. You're sitting in the meeting. Someone takes credit for your work. The heat rises in your neck. Your pulse hammers. Your amygdala is firing exactly like an ancestor facing a predator. It floods your system with cortisol. It screams that if you speak up, you will be cast out. You will die? So you obey the lie. You look down. You stay silent. And instantly, the heat fades. Oh, safety. You get a massive hit of chemical relief. You think you survived. Pause. You didn't survive a predator. You just surrendered your dignity for a hit of cheap dopamine. Here's what you don't want to hear. You secretly love this biological excuse. It gives you permission to stay small. Stop trying to be comfortable. That evolutionary panic isn't a stop sign. That pain is information. It's a map showing you exactly where you need to strike back. But you'd rather be safe than respected. You feel that emptiness creeping in at 9 p.m. That low-level hum of anxiety telling you your life is off track. It's heavy in your chest. It's trying to tell you something critical. But your hand twitches. You can't handle the quiet. You grab your phone. You start scrolling through endless, meaningless videos. You laugh at a meme. You swipe. You swipe again. 3 hours bleed out into the glowing screen. You completely numb the exact sensation that was trying to wake you up. Stop. Look at what you're doing. You treat your phone like an 4-drip of cheap dopamine. You use it to kill the symptoms of your reality. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You are choosing to be hypnotized rather than face the mirror. Pain is information. It is the raw data you need to fix your life. But when you drown it in distraction, you guarantee your decay. Stop trying to be comfortable. You are scrolling your life away just to avoid feeling it. You have the conversation planned. You've rehearsed the words in your head 100 times. You finally decide today is the day. Then you look at them. They seem tired. Or maybe you just had a long shift. The timing just feels off. That familiar flutter of dread hits your stomach. So you back down. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow when I feel ready. You exhale. The pressure vanishes. Stop. Look at the lie you just swallowed. Here is what nobody is going to tell you. Ready is a ghost. Ready is just a socially acceptable word for comfortable. You are waiting for the friction to disappear before you make your move. It won't. You are using time as a weapon against your own evolution. Pain is information. That anxiety in your gut isn't a red light telling you to hold off. It's the exact signal that the dynamic is broken and requires immediate action. Stop trying to be comfortable. The perfect moment is just a sophisticated excuse you invented to justify your paralysis. Someone gives you basic feedback. It isn't an attack, just an observation. But your chest tightens. You smile and nod, but inside, you are spiraling. You spend the next 4 hours obsessing. You twist the narrative until you are the victim of a vicious insult. Pause. Look at how fragile you've become. Nobody is going to tell you this, but you did this to yourself. By constantly retreating from friction, you haven't just avoided pain. You have actively starved your emotional immune system. Your mind has faced zero resistance for so long that a breeze feels like a hurricane. Pain is information. It is the resistance training your psyche requires to survive. When you engineer a life with no friction, you guarantee emotional atrophy. Stop trying to be comfortable. You are turning yourself into glass and wondering why the world keeps shattering you. You sit across from your friend. You complain about how stuck you are, how poorly you are treated. You pour out your misery. They lean in. They tell you to draw the line. They hand you the exact keys to your cage. And what do? You sigh. You look away. You say, it's complicated. You defend the exact situation that is destroying you. Then you walk right back into the room you just cried about. Stop. Look in the mirror. Here is what nobody is going to tell you. You secretly love your cage. You love the identity of the victim because playing the victim requires zero effort. Taking responsibility requires stepping into the fire. Pain is information. It is supposed to be the catalyst that forces you to move. But you are using it as currency to buy sympathy. Stop trying to be comfortable. You are actively choosing this decay. If you don't break this cycle, you will have this exact same conversation in 10 years. Just older. Just more bitter. and entirely to blame. So here is the line in the sand. Choose option A. Wake up and do exactly what you did today. Swallow your words. Smile when you are disrespected. Keep curating that perfectly padded, miserable cell. Stay safe. Watch your self-respect rot quietly in the dark. Or choose option B. Step into the fire. When the anxiety hits your throat, speak. When they cross the line, don't laugh. Stare right back and hold the boundary. Here is the final truth. Nobody will save you from your cowardice. Pain is information. It is the only compass pointing toward your evolution. The friction you keep running from is the exact cure you require. Stop trying to be comfortable. Comfort is just a slow death disguised as peace. The next time your chest tightens, don't retreat. Stand there. Extract the data. What are you choosing tomorrow? The rot or the fire?